Good evening. I'm late to record. Sorry, I've been kind of busy today at work and I just been busy doing other stuff. But I was going to skip doing the episode, but then I kind of got a second wind of energy. So I figured I'd hurry up and record it before, I'm sorry, I don't know what that was. before, Insecure comes on tonight. Tonight is the premiere of the final season. I'm sad about that, but I'm looking forward to the laughs and just the good energy that show brings because I love that show. So I just want to do a quick episode titled Thug It Out because that's what I told myself today. This morning before I went to my second job, I just been feeling kind of burnt out lately, just feeling not stuck, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, all right, I'm just tired of this rotation that I'm in and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Like I'm ready to graduate. I'm almost about to be like almost the end of the semester. So that means one last semester for me. My job itself, working the two jobs, I'm just burnt out from that. I'm tired of doing that. Even it's like that situation where like you're running the long distance race and like you can see the end of the line, but it's still further up. I still got like 2 or 3 more miles left, and I just got to keep going. So just feeling like that, like I got to thug it out and enjoy the process that I'm going through right now because I know it's going to pay off in the end, right? So I wanted to talk about this post that I received. I'm sorry, an email that I received for a quote similar to what I read last time. It's a different one. So the quote says, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." And that's from Viktor Frankl. Again, it says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I definitely feel like that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, I can't really, for some reason, like I've given control. I have to give control to God. And everything is happening the way it is right now for a reason. I'm being held in this position to not jump forward to everything that I want for a reason. So maybe it's something that I need to change within myself too, right? Like improve my patience, or it's something else I need to achieve before I can get to the next step of where I want to be, right? So I'm going to read what it says. So So they're from Daily Inspiration. That's the name of the emails that I get. I don't even know how I got into that, but so it says, Austrian psychologist Viktor Frankl is known for developing logotherapy, a psychological approach based on the idea that humans are motivated primarily by the search for purpose and meaning. Frankl developed the theory largely as a result of his experience as a concentration camp prisoner during World War II, where he was part of an effort among the prisoners to prevent suicide attempts. Frankl's work has informed many modern trauma therapies. In his words, still ring true to anyone who feels trapped in their circumstances. Even in the most difficult situations, we have control over ourselves and how we respond to adversity. Yes. So, I don't have really much to say because I feel like that just really broke it down, but, let me go back and read it. Sorry. All right, so as humans, we're motivated to search for purpose and meaning, right? And so I feel like sometimes we get trapped into the idea of trying to hurry up and search and find what our purpose is and what our meaning is so that we can just complete it. And as humans, sometimes we have this idea that like, all right, once you find your purpose and you're living in your purpose, then you're going to be happy and then everything that you want comes to you. But that's not necessarily the case. And so like, even if you do hurry up and get your purpose, you still need to understand why that's your purpose and the meaning behind it and why you particularly have been picked to complete that mission or that thing, So with that comes the experience. And that's similar to, at least I know for me, what I'm going through now is like, I know what I want to do, but it's like maybe right now everything that I'm going through or this kind of slow and steady pace of it, it's like it's for a reason, because actually I was talking to my mom this morning. She was like saying that, I probably feel like that because God wants me to appreciate when I get everything that I'm wanting versus just like it all coming so easily. And then you can kind of get like, all right, well, you'll like it and be happy in the beginning. But then because you didn't really earn it or have to go through much to get it, it can become, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if I like this. And you know what I mean? Like you're always going to be searching for more versus like, man, like that, that feeling like when you work so hard to get somewhere or to get something and you're like, you treasure it and you value it more and you'll take your time with it and you'll just be so protective of it. And you'll make such a more of an effort to not lose it and to treat it the way it's supposed to be treated. Right. So that, I feel like that has to do with your purpose too. Like we have to work towards finding our purpose and the meaning behind it, and then completing it and like following through with it and living in it, because it takes time, because that means that you'll appreciate it more and you'll treat it the way it's supposed to be treated, right? So also, I like how it's saying, even in the most difficult situations, we have control over ourselves and how we respond to adversity. And I feel like that definitely, like, I always talk about the podcast that I listen to. I'm sorry, why am I going blank? The pastor. Hold on. Jerry Flowers, I'm sorry. I'm tired, y'all, sorry. So Jerry Flowers, he always talks about like going back to the Bible and how we respond to adversity, or how you respond to things that can throw you off course or not necessarily in your plans. Just, it can determine, for one, how long you're going to have to deal with the adversity. And for two, also just like, if you're going to all right, so in life, when we all have like our destination and like, all right, we want to do this. Like, I want to finish my degree, right? Like me, for a prime example, I thought I was going to be finished with my degree last year, but then all that stuff happened. All that adversity occurred for me where, I couldn't go to school already because financially I had told myself I was going to pay out of pocket. I couldn't do it because my taxes, blah, 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 right? And then I ended up the whole situation with them trying to kick me out and then having to write the appeal. And then the first time them telling me no, then I have to write the appeal again, then having to research and basically, be my own lawyer against this school and get in, right? And this was almost a whole year's process, a whole year that I planned on being done, right? So that adversity coming my way, I responded in a positive way because I told myself, all right, well, I know right from wrong and I know what I've done. I haven't done anything wrong. So the most I can do is fight for what I believe in and fight for myself and tell the truth, find the evidence to support that and go hard, right? And so doing so led me to I got the support that I needed from my professor because he testified in the appeal on my behalf as well. But also just even if he didn't testify, my words and my letter and everything that I wrote in there was the truth. And I stood my ground and let them know the deal, right? Like, you're not going to get away with this. And so I won. And that to me is like was the right response versus I could have, I don't know. I could have just been like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what it is, and let them get away with thousands of dollars out of my pocket. No. Or I could have, I could have got angry and try to go back and forth with them. That's not going to do anything either, right? So it's like the way you respond. Sometimes you got to take a step back, take a deep breath and think about it and be like, all right, think about what this situation is at hand, what the result is that you want and how you can get there. Like, so even if there's like, okay, this obstacle is my way, how can I get around it or how can I get through it to still get to where I need to be, right? Because like I always say, you better believe ain't nothing holding me back. So if something comes my way, that ain't no problem. I'll figure it out, So having that mindset about any type of adversity that comes your way is definitely something that I suggest having, because it's, for one, it's just showing your strength and showing God that you not only your strength, but it's like that amount of faith, like to be able to, it's easy to say like, oh, I can get through whatever, or like just saying that ain't nothing holding me back. Like when you saying that and then you really believe that, you know what I mean? Like when you really believe that there's nothing that's going to hold me back, that's a powerful thing. And I feel like I've said this before, but that's a powerful mindset. That's a powerful thing in your spirit. That's a powerful mindset and a powerful spirit to have, just to have that type of belief and to follow through and to act on that. So that alone will push you to always respond to adversity with confidence and with faith in yourself, with faith in God, and faith that whatever this obstacle is, clearly it's for a reason, right? Or it's going to be used for a reason to glorify the fact that, you know, you are meant to go far in life, and you are meant to complete these goals that you have for yourself, and that God supports it, and that God's still going to get you through it anyway. There's nothing that God can't get through or help you through, you know? So, and when you have that type of mindset and just, you know, that drive behind yourself, it's very powerful, and it's very inspiring, and it's very inspiring to yourself, not only just to others, but in yourself, you know, like just be able to inspire yourself and just keep going and think about, or just sit back and think about all the times that you've had adversity and like you thought you could never get through it, but you did, and then something else bigger happened, and maybe another time, and the more and more things that happen to you, the more you shouldn't become immune to it. You should become stronger, right? So keep in mind, like when adversity comes, it doesn't mean to numb yourself and just, oh, I'll just get through this or whatever. Okay? It's more about like dust your shoulders off and like, all right, it is what it is. Like we got it. Like, you know, like give yourself a pep talk. And I know it gets hard because sometimes you have those days when you're like, yo, I ain't in the mood for this no more. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm tired, you know, like whether it be physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally tired, spiritually tired. But in those times, you have to find whatever works for you to lift your spirits again, whether that's praying, meditating, listening to a podcast like mine's or something. Shameless plug. Or just any podcast, you know, like, or talk to a family member, working out, or watching a comedy to make you laugh, listening to music, whatever it is that helps you kind of rejuvenate yourself and get back in the game, right? Because that's what it is. Get your head back in the game, because there's nothing that's going to hold you back. The only person that can hold you back is you. And I know me personally, I would hate to be the reason that I don't succeed. And I'm sure that anyone else who has that drive, or who just, you know, anyone in general doesn't want to be, you never want to be the reason that you don't succeed, right? You don't want anyone to be the reason why you don't succeed, but definitely not yourself. So it's funny because I think I posted yesterday on my like personal Instagram this video of oh my gosh, what's his name? I forget his name. He's funny though. He's mad funny. And he always posts a video. He's like in his car screaming about Tawanda or whatever. And he was like saying how like, he was like, God, I am not one of your strongest soldiers. Like, stop. I don't know who sent it to you, email, whatever, who told you that, but stop putting things on my name. And like, I really resonated with it because I was like, yo, I completely feel you, because sometimes I say that to my friends too. I'm like, yo, I think God got confused a little bit. Like maybe he got me mixed up with somebody named Chantel versus like Chanel or you know, whatever. Because like, there's no, like, come on, man. Like sometimes you just feel like, all right, you're doing too much a little bit. Like I'm strong, but I think you got me mixed up I'm in the wrong line of battle here. Like you're giving me too much at the same time, you know. But the point of that is just like feeling like sometimes you feel like, all right, I think you're giving me way more than I can probably handle, right? But you have to remember that God will never give you more than you can handle. And it's just highlighting to you, dang, that just came to my head, that like when you, instead of looking at it like, oh, this is too much and you're giving me too much and I can't handle this, it's more or less God is showing you that, like, how strong you really are, right? So maybe you think that because I've gone through all those obstacles in my past, I'm this amount of strength. But then it's like more these obstacles that you might be facing now that are new and that may be heavier or taking longer to get through is God is using them to highlight to you and show you that, no, like, you got even more strength in you, right? So let's bring it out, or let's get rid of the last bit of anger in your heart, or that last bit of worry or fear, or just you trust me. Like, maybe God's like, all right, I feel like you trust me, but you only trust me like 90%. We got to get that last 10% of fear out of you, right? So sometimes that's why it's taking longer, and that's why it feels like a heavier battle, because there's something left in you that God needs to get rid of, right? So he's using this experience to get rid of it and get it to you, to get you to higher yourself, right? That's the whole goal as well. We come here on earth where like we said before, I said we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And before you came here, you made a soul contract to complete a purpose and to complete a mission. And the whole point as a human is you're not supposed to obviously be given a handwritten note about what your mission is. The whole point is to experience life, to figure it out. And sometimes as human, we experience these adversities, and you can either let it beat you down and derail you from completing your goal, and you can live a meaningless life, or you can use the adversity to keep pushing yourself and to keep going and to complete the contract that you signed, and to complete the mission that you came here for, which was to find your purpose and to live a meaningful life, and to always give back if you can, whether it be in the smallest or the biggest way. I guess I would be considered somewhat giving back too with this podcast, because I do try to give meaningful advice and share meaningful stories and information. And I obviously, I know I'm not going to be able to help everyone, but if it can help somebody, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. So just trying to, I guess my point with this whole thing is like, thug it out, like, even, you're in the ring and you might get knocked a couple of times, or, you might get a couple hits, but if you got to sit back and get back into your corner, wipe your face, get some water, get a little pep talk going to yourself, or somebody, a family member, whoever, give you a pep talk, get up, shake it off, and get back out there and win, so that's kind of what it's like what I'm trying to push for in life. Like the message I'm trying to teach with this episode is like, thug it out, push through your adversity, whatever comes your way, because you can get through it. And there's a reason why you're facing this adversity. You might not be able to know it right now, but when you get through to the finish line and you achieve and accomplish where you want to be, then you'll be able to look back at the experience and be like, oh, okay, that's why this particular things happened, or the way it went. And now I've learned my lesson from it, and I'm able to, keep that in my mind the next time something similar happens, or something worse, or it can be able to pass it down to somebody else, right? Or be there for somebody else when they're going through that experience. So, in conclusion, just thug it out. You got it. You're not alone. It's been a rough couple of years, so just be gentle with yourself, but also don't give up on yourself. For those who are like me in school, whether it be grad school, undergrad, high school, whatever, going through for a degree, going for a certificate, you're going for something, just keep going. You got it. You're smart, and you've got into the program or whatever it is that you're studying for a reason. So fulfill that reason, right? Fulfill that goal for yourself and the promise that you made to yourself. Remember, even if you have to just think back to when you got your acceptance letter, right? Or when you applied and you wanted this. So don't let a couple of bad classes or tough teachers or whatever derail you. Like, other people before you took the classes and they passed and they we're able to get through, so you can do it too, and you can do it better, right? And you can just make sure you try to get the best grades that you can. We're almost through the semester. We have like 6 weeks left, 6 or 7 weeks left. So just think about the end, that puts you one step closer to your degree. We have Halloween coming up. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but we also have, I know Thanksgiving means a lot to me, so for the food wise. So Thanksgiving's coming up, Christmas coming up. So just push through. We only got a couple more weeks left. Like, I know I have a midterm that's due next Sunday. Have I started it? It's debatable. I technically have. I wrote a couple paragraphs, but that's besides the point. So I know people have midterms due. That's the literally midterm, right? So that means we're halfway there. So keep going, keep pushing, and let's celebrate, right? Because at the end, it's time to get lit, time to party after, So just look forward to whatever it is that you think you're gonna do after. And make sure you finish strong. You're not the only one, and I'm dealing with it too. So if you want to message me or whatever, and we can vent about it or something, then let me know. But just finish strong, get them A's and make yourself proud. Make yourself proud, make your family proud, everybody, make anybody proud, So I hope that this resonated with someone, and don't forget, thug it out. We got this. So thank you. I hope if anyone's going to watch, I'm definitely watching tonight, Insecure. Check it out and get your work done. I'm going to finish my midterm eventually. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. It is what it is. I got 2 A's. What am I going to cry about, But anyway, I hope that this message resonated with somebody. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm your host, Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Have a great night. Have a great week. Finish strong. This month is almost over. October is almost over. I feel like it flew by. So we're in Scorpio season. That brings out a lot of, I don't even know. I think it's like emotions and stuff, but it's more than that. I think it's like just dealing with things that are hidden, right? So things are coming out. So stay strong, thug it out. You got this. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.